and the power of J Skull.
Welcome, everybody. We are back again talking another episode, well, a couple episodes of He-Man, and we have a special guest here tonight to join us, Michael Chan. You may know him. He's been, we did an interview with him. He's a Star Trek actor, but he's a multi-talented individual. IMDb him. Very cool. But for some reason, he wants to come on and talk some He-Man, which we were, I was so stoked that you wanted to come on. So the first question I've got to ask you, being our guest, is why are you into He-Man? Where did that come from?
I've been a He-Man fan or Masters of the Universe fan since almost as long as I've been a Trekkie. So like, my mom, you know, like I've explained that in other interviews that my mom is the one who introduced me to like sci-fi and all that with Star Trek and Doctor Who, but she also allowed me a certain period of time to watch like cartoons, right? And one of the cartoons that was on when she let me watch was Masters of the Universe, and I absolutely fell in love with it, along with Thundercats, Transformers, and then eventually She-Ra as well. But yeah,
She-Ra.
but like, yeah, He-Man and She-Ra, like Masters and She-Ra, both shows, like they were a huge part of my childhood. Like I just loved everything about them because it was, to me, it was very different, right? Like I didn't know what fantasy or sci-fi were. You know, at that age, like I'm, you know, I was born in '81, so like that's pretty. I was pretty young, but like, you know, if you had GI Joe, right, and they had guns, and it's like modern. You have Transformers, they're robots, and they had guns, right? But these people, they had swords and shields and clothing that looked different. The whole fantasy aesthetic, yet they had all the sci-fi stuff. So I think as a kid, I was like, whoa, this is so different. And
A bit from column A and a bit from column B.
Yeah.
Sci-fi and fantasy.
That was it. Like I couldn't get enough of it. So and that continued. Yeah.
So for me, I well, obviously Filmation. I was all about Filmation, and I put it aside for 30-something years until this man next to me, we started talking about it one day, and I've started to rediscover all the series across, you know, in the universe as such. Have you kept up with watching all the newer series of He-Man, like She-Ra, the Princess of Power, the new He-Man Master Universe, Revelation? Are you keeping up with the Master Universe?
I watched the Princess of Power, the Netflix series. I also watched Revelations. I did not watch the series that Snake Pit that we're going to talk about later is from, though. Like I knew of it. I even bought the He-Man figure from it because I thought it looked cool. But I don't know. Like I watched a couple of episodes. I don't know. I just, something didn't click with me the way original, you know, Masters did. And
aesthetically it looks great, doesn't it? But
it does.
Like,
and like, even we'll talk about it soon, but I'm just gonna say Snake Pit reaffirmed my like not wanting to watch that series.
Yeah, it is. It looks good, but once you get into it, and I found this with Jason, there are some big issues that start to arise with that 2002 series. Not so much with the newer ones, which are like I haven't gotten into the new He-Man and the Master Universe yet. I've seen a couple episodes, but they do an awesome version of Battle Cat in that one. Yeah. But Revelation and She-Ra, the Princess of Power, like
that one shocked me. Princess of Power shocked me because like I was like, what is with the art style? But you know what? For me, it's all about story, really. Like I mean, unless the art is absolutely atrocious, but it wasn't. It was just different. And when I watched it, I fell in love with the story, and I didn't care that the animation's different. I liked it.
Yeah, me too. And you know, me, it's all about story. It's all about what you're trying to do, and that show, especially as we've said, guys who are watching our She-Ra breakdowns, the character relationships, what defines that show, the interpersonal relationship, the fact that every single character comes from a place of trauma, to me is such a bold storytelling device for what is essentially a show aimed at little girls. And I applaud them for making such complex, interesting storylines and not dumbing it down for kids, which, you know, would be by very nature what they potentially would have done. So, no, that's, to me, I'm told there's only one better other cartoon than She-Ra, but my friend here tells me that Avatar, which I haven't seen, The Last Airbender. But I think after we finish this show, Jason, we're going to have to get into Avatar.
We will.
Avatar, and then
there's about to be a huge blow up of Avatar, you know, media, because they're working on movies and they're working on a live action series and they're working on.
That's filmed in Canada.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
Really? Really? I didn't hear that. I just heard the letters NDA. That's all I heard. All right, let's get into it, guys. We're here to talk about the great Kobra Khan and Jace. You've got the figure right there.
I do, and not only do I have the figure, I have the land shark.
Yes,
Features.
He has a
very
big
heavily.
mouth.
Yes, he
I
does.
love it. I love it. You need to one day have that thing like just chomping for your video instead of you. It's your voice, but it's like reading.
Yeah,
the
we could
signs.
do a puppet thing.
I could do a puppet. I do a puppet for Halloween every year. I do a little skeleton. So that's gonna be something.
There you go. But hold tight. We have another show, Michael, called Off the Shelf, which I believe Jason's going to be on soon, where he's going to be looking at his vast, and I mean vast collection. This guy's probably got one of the. Yeah, he has a problem. Do you have?
Is that the Battle Monster
Cat?
truck? Oh,
Do you, Jason?
I don't have that one, but
Aha!
I had to make a choice. I got the Wind Raider instead of that, and then I never found that again. And I wish I got both of them at the same time.
Well, that's a win for Michael, I think. There goes your credibility, Jason.
I know. I will leave y'all to it.
No, the original figure. How about you, Michael? Did you own many figures? Because look at that.
I owned. Well, my mom only got me a couple of He-Man figures, so like the original figure, and then the I forgot what you call it. It's the one with the silver armor, and he has the spinning
the battle armor. The armor.
The chest doesn't spin. Armor. It's the weapon he has. It has the 3 balls
Thunder
on it.
Punch He-Man.
Yeah, there
Thunder
you go.
Punch, because he's got the little bola thing.
Yeah. There you go. Yes,
I have that one in there.
He's got it. You know.
Problem is, like both my He-Mans, their legs eventually just fell off on their own.
Yeah,
because the rubber.
The rubber bands would deteriorate.
Dried up. Yeah, so it's just like bloop, they're legless now.
Yeah, my vintage figures are all like just hanging on by a thread right now. I need to get them replaced because they have kits on eBay. I just haven't done it yet.
Ooh, I never even
that's
thought
interesting.
to do that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. All right, let's get into the film. The first episode we're going to talk about is the Filmation episode, which is called The Cold Zone. Now, Kobra Khan asks He-Man for help in restoring the eternal flame of his people, the Reptons. The heroic warriors agree to a truce, but find themselves betrayed as soon as they enter the Cold Zone. That's the brief synopsis, but what stunned me here, Jason, this is the last episode of the Filmation series.
This is the final episode. And I was very surprised whenever I found that fact, because I always thought it was the problem with Power. But no.
Yeah, I had no idea this was the final episode until I looked it up too before coming on here. I was like, wait, what? No.
It now feels like a very odd place for them left the series, which says to me they had an intention for the series to continue.
That is what I consider, that's what I think happened. And if you know anything about the history, the thing that happened to He-Man was She-Ra. Yeah. She-Ra happened to He-Man, and they devoted all their power, all their resources to She-Ra, and kind of neglected He-Man and just kind of let it die prematurely, I think.
Well, I blame Cal for that.
It's always Cal's fault.
It's always Cal's fault. Giant ears and all. Yeah. How dare he?
Hello, Bo.
Arrow right through that thing's forehead, little freak.
Now, this episode starts off like most episodes of He-Man with Man-at-Arms having to deal with Orko's eagerness and incompetence at the same time.
And Man-at-Arms has invented something stupid.
Yeah.
That for some reason he can't replace. Orko, my pretty little birdies, what are you doing?
Yeah, they're irreplaceable, he says. You know, they're irreplaceable.
Even though he's made three, they're irreplaceable.
Are you going through a semiconductor shortage over there? Why can't you build more? Like, I don't get it. Poor Orko. He tries his best.
You know Man-at-Arms would have used those to do something that would completely screw everything up, though. It's like Skeletor would have come along and got them and caused havoc. And, well, this would have never happened if I hadn't have tried to trifle with life.
Or maybe
like you said, he's a man. He's a mad scientist.
Sees the beauty in them and then turns good. I don't know.
It could have happened. I don't know.
Skeletor is very complex too because, it's the last episode.
We don't know.
But Skeletor and all the other ones, they kept showing up in She-Ra every now and again, though.
Yeah, I was going to say Skeletor's not in this episode at all, right?
No, he's not.
So you got the final episode of the main bad guy's not in there either.
It's like Robert Reed refusing to be in the last episode of the Brady Bunch. I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly. But we do get I suppose Kobra Khan, he's the next level. He was supposed to be the big bad to sell to kids to go, he's worse than Skeletor, kids. But I don't know. He never really sold me. I mean, even his entrance here, which, yes, we've got the...
looks weird.
He does look weird. And
even the way that they animate him, because he almost has this thing where he's always biting his lower lip. Like whenever you see somebody you think is really attractive, you go,
Yeah.
That's what he looks like the whole time.
He talks out the side of his mouth a lot, doesn't he?
Where is He-Man? I can't do it.
There's the animated version of him who's already pretty buff, and then there's the action figure, right? And I'm always sitting here, I'm like, did he like Mr. Snake Man here go and work out at the like Snake Mountain gym or something? Like the guy is like built.
Oh, he is built like unbelievably.
And he's got like claws.
I want to talk about that in the next episode we talk about there because there is some disparaging. He may be built, but maybe not as built as some other members of.
Well, I know. I was surprised when I saw him and him on screen and as a figure form because I'm like, I don't know, man. If it's just how like where do they work out? What do they do to get this buff? And why are the other Reptons not that buff?
Yeah, I have no idea. Poor Scales.
I'm just literally imagining Skeletor and all his minions working out all day, getting ready to fight Heman and all the heroes because they're just really, really muscular.
Do you think
Heman doesn't have to though? Does he really? Because he just
Heman doesn't have to do anything.
He just and then he's got.
Well, I mean, Adam's pretty built in the original series, so I mean, he clearly works out.
Yeah.
I still don't understand how nobody ever put two and two together and thought, hey, He-Man looks exactly like Adam. Same body, same hair, same voice, and both of them hang out with a green tiger. Do you know what this means? Yes, it means Adam's not here when we need him.
Exactly. Well, it's the Superman problem, isn't it? I mean, this essentially comes from the Clark Kent Superman thing where everybody knows and you have to come up with these dumb things to say, where did Clark Kent go? Oh, you'll never hear when we need him.
Yeah, but do you know that Henry Cavill put on a pair of glasses and went out to Times Square and no one recognized him?
I don't buy that.
Or people did, but just thought, nah, it's a look.
Yeah. They're probably thinking, I ain't messing with Superman. I don't know what his deal is. The last movie, he seemed pretty grumpy.
Don't go near him. You saw what happened to the last city he was in.
Yes, that's it.
Look, man, I walk out all the time and nobody knows who I am, and I'm pretty. No, I'm kidding. I'm not sorry.
It's the glasses.
It's it. You take them off and they go, holy shit, you're on the bridge of the.
Oh my god!
Oh my god, it's Michael Chan. All right, vehicle-wise, one of my other vehicles that I love is in this episode too, Attack Track. I mean,
I was always upset they never made I don't want to say screen accurate, but a more accurate version of the Attack Track.
Yeah, it does seem very rudimentary.
Basically,
because the The real one's amazing looking.
Oh, it was. It was. The toy was great, and then you had the minivan. But you know what? I kind of liked the minivan. I wanted the minivan version of the attack track. With its
These guys don't get along though, do they?
No.
I love that they're sentient.
Yes.
Yeah. Is this a proto Cars Pixar thing going on?
No, they're ripping off Knight Rider. That's all it is right now. They've got Kit and Car next to each other.
In some ways, Star Wars as well, right?
Yes, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Now the whole plot of this, I actually thought was actually quite interesting, and it, in a way, it was the Filmation Game of Thrones episode. I was surprised there wasn't a scene of the Red Wedding in this one, because
there was lots of nudity though.
Yeah, there was. There was.
I mean, but basically, Kobra Khan, he was running around in the entire episode, nothing but his tighty whities, while everybody else is dressed and supposedly freezing. But here comes Kobra Khan in a pair of underwear.
It's not a bad plan, though, if you think about it.
No,
his plan is to, blame He-Man for the problem, solve the problem, and then become king. It's actually quite genius.
In a sense, Kobra Khan was weaponizing racism, which I thought was very interesting.
Wow.
That's exactly what he was doing. He was.
You're right. You're right.
He comes in and he says,
yeah.
he comes in and he's like, "Hey, these humans right here, I saw them doing something." He's Karening right now. I saw them do something, and you got to believe me because I'm one of your people.
I think that was the only thing about the episode that made me go, "What?" Because he turned to evil, worked out to the point where he's way more buff than all of them. Covered up his crotch, and I have a follow-up question about what exactly is between his legs. He's a
well, if he's a reptile, not a long.
Snake between his snaky legs, but anyways,
he's got a little rattle down there.
And then
why would he's excited?
He turned to evil. They said he turned to evil, and somehow you just believe. I mean, I guess you're right. It's about racism. It just made no sense to me. I'm just like, guys, like, he's evil.
Yeah, the king is not exactly the brightest spark.
He's really not.
There's not even a real discussion.
I mean, look at that. I don't know. He's watching the comedian Scales. He's watching Scales at that point.
I think it's funny that the king was the most snake-like out of all of them. He had the little flickering tongue and everything, and now obviously it's Alan Oppenheimer doing the voice. They didn't even change the fact that he sounds just like Man at Arms.
No, Alan was quite busy in this episode, I believe.
He really was.
There was a lot of voices he did in this one. But
are the Reptons descendants of the Snake Men? But somehow they're all reptiles instead of snakes, except for
I'm not sure.
Go back. Go
back to that picture. Go back to.
Yes, come on.
He's wearing underwear with suspenders, and he's proud of himself.
He is, look, and they're pretty high-riding jocks. I gotta say, those
really are.
Probably a bit.
I would like to point out how progressive this show is to have a manly character dressed like that.
Yeah, absolutely. But there's some pretty neat suspenders. I'd rock those suspenders if I could.
Well, I would rock them. I would paint myself green and wear that. No problem.
Oh, man, that's a Halloween outfit and a half. You could totally pull that off, hey, doing that.
That also gets you on a few watch lists around the country. If you want to know. Mommy, don't look, honey, don't look.
Don't look.
Come. Never mind.
Well, and so the whole thing is...
Kids.
Hey, guys, did we find out how the internal flame turned itself off in the first place?
He stuck an ice crystal in it,
and it inadvertently caused the passageway to collapse.
That's why, because he freaked out a little bit later on when he goes, "Oh no, I think I put it out permanently.
I broke it.
Yes, I screwed up. Oh crap!
Oh crap! Yeah. Uh oh. To be honest with you, I was more focused on the first season and a half. I don't know how many episodes of Kobra Khan I saw as a kid. I don't really have... I'm old, I probably forgot. But the thing is with him, Jason, was he a better villain in some of these other episodes? Because It doesn't come across that intimidating at all in this episode.
In my opinion, Kobra Khan was basically just another henchman. So this was another henchman going off and doing his thing. Like whenever they had a Strictly Evil Lyn episode or a Strictly Beastman episode, you know, I've got to go do this so Skeletor will let me back into Snake Mountain. Yeah, Kobra Khan was around the end of the series. Really was never a great character, even though they were trying to set up the Snake Men as the next Horde or the next evil masters. It just never took off. And then the cartoon died, and you know,
that was it.
Now the Snake Men have kind of this legendary status about them, but they were never that interesting. They had some cool figure designs, but they just were never my favorite.
You know, I remember being a kid.
Tongue Lashore, yes.
Yeah. I remember being a kid and seeing them on the racks. And my biggest problem as a kid who was collecting the figures, we were so spoilt with Master Universe being each figure being so unique, completely different style. I mean, the same arms and legs, and they put a coat of paint on it. But each character had very definitive aspects to him.
Yes, they had a gag.
Yeah, and I felt the Snake Men just felt much of the same. I'm sure they may have had individual bits to them, but from a visual point of view, as a kid, you were like, "Oh, they all look kind of the same." I'm not interested, you know. But yeah, oh well, my loss.
I mean, Kobra Khan's interesting, at least.
Yeah, he spit water.
Yeah, he spit water, but his character's interesting because he's a snake, isn't he?
Yes.
He's always worried about what he's up to. He's certainly the I think he was to come in to go, oh, you don't know which side he's on. You know, he could be nice, he could be bad. But
I will say this though, he wasn't. I mean, for a henchman or whatever, he's actually not that dumb. Like his move, that was pretty smart. And when he pulled out the crystal, if the Eternal Flame came back on, I mean, he would have won.
Yeah, he would have been king.
It was that one little writing thing they just threw in where it's like, oh crap, I screwed up. But it's not his fault, really. Like he did everything right.
Yeah, he did. Evil Lyn, to me, is always the smartest of Skeletor's henchmen. This is an Evil Lyn tier plan, I think.
Yes.
Something
he
that
doesn't
she would
have to
done,
be the strongest. I mean, he's definitely the sexiest of the reptiles.
Oh, absolutely. Like,
but he doesn't have to be the strongest.
Sexiest.
Those suspenders.
Look at me with my suspenders and my
He used his brain. And I think that's pretty cool. And I kind of like that.
Yeah, except he needed He-Man to do spinny.
That has got to be the strongest icicle ever. Because it's like digging through dirt and rock and into the molten core of the earth. And it never melts, it never breaks.
But I love the fact that he's got to comment on it as he's spinning down. Must keep spinning.
Just keep spinning. Just keep spinning.
That reminded me of Captain Planet.
I love to spin.
Yeah, Captain Planet was a big one on that, wasn't he?
Yeah,
describing everything he does.
I would have loved to have just seen like a realistic take on that scene where He-Man's spinning down there with the things. And, gotta keep spinning. Gotta keep. What's going on down there? All of a sudden,
imagine
is that lava? No, Walko, that's vomit.
Can I just say how much hair product does he put in each day? Because it's defying gravity at this point.
Look, the power of Grayskull gave him spray tan. It's going to give him hair product too.
Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely agree with that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, then the lava spits out, which was...
I still think that's vomit, but sure.
Yeah, it's probably puke. But Scales, by the way, what did we think of Scales in this?
I thought he had
like
really
Scales.
funny lines. The whole thing about, by my beard, this is amazing. Almost as amazing as the fact that I don't have a beard. I'm like, that's the writers just having a piss right now.
I loved it.
Yeah, so I was big on Scales because Scales gets to me. I'm going to jump ahead here. He gets the final say by egging him, whatever that stuff's made of.
Snowballs. I'm not mistaken.
They're snowballs, pink snowballs. But yeah. But the king, as dumb as that king was to me, he finally figures it out, doesn't he?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and I will also say I do not understand how this one-off guest character was better animated than Kobra Khan was. Because
Scales.
Yeah, Scales was even better animated than Kobra Khan was, because Python, he like moved a lot, and he had a lot of different facial features, and he did all this weird stuff, and even the design is better than Kobra Khan. So I don't know.
Very lizard-like.
Well, maybe he was supposed to come back a lot more later.
Maybe so, but I just liked the way that he was animated. I just thought it was really nice.
Was great. It was great.
Even though they couldn't spring for a new voice actor, it was nice, yeah.
But I thought the King, he was like, oh, he's a bit senile. Like, I like the fact they threw that into it, that maybe he's not firing on all cylinders here.
Yeah, well, it's cold. He can't think when it's cold.
And that's the thing.
We're about to enter the great sleep. Now, you do that every day, Granddad. You call it the great sleep. I don't want to wake up. I'm so old.
But is there no sun outside? Have they figured just to go outside and maybe lay on a towel out in the sun?
You would think. They're not very bright.
No, and why do lizards, who are cold-blooded creatures, are then living in an ice cavern then?
They're not very bright.
Not very bright. Except for Scales. He's a good guy.
Scales.
I like him.
And Kobra Khan. Kobra Khan's like, these people are idiots.
I will say, though, it's a real shame this was the last episode, because
I agree.
Yeah.
This is not the right way to finish off this series. Definitely not. I mean, This isn't a bad episode. It's not that I don't like it. I do like it. It just feels misplaced and it feels odd, you know? It feels like a middle of the season, a filler episode, you know?
Yes.
But yeah, it is what it is. And as we said before, it's got to be the fact that they were not intending this to be the last episode.
No.
There's no way. So, but in saying that, it was entertaining. I've seen a lot worse episodes in this He-Man series than this. So you could tell they were in a flow. They knew how to write this show, because they were hitting those certain beats, weren't they? Throughout.
Yes, they were. And they were having fun with the formula, too, which I really appreciated.
Yep.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And the writing was becoming self-referential as well, and they were kind of making fun of some of their And I like whenever writing becomes self-referential in a way that is fun, but not like Velma level cringy.
Yeah, you had to bring up that show, didn't you?
I did.
I had to bury that.
I watched every episode because I was hate watching that show.
I heard it got greenlit for a second season.
Yeah, and I like to think that I'm
probably
probably
hate watching it, giving it enough ratings for it to get.
Yeah. I just want to know what they're going to do to Scooby.
Yeah. Why? I don't want to ask. I don't want to ask.
I'm sadomasochist and I hate myself. That's why.
Honestly, though, it's like me reading and watching all of Twilight, because I shouldn't have really. Who am I to make a full comment and opinion if I haven't seen and read everything? Which
there you go.
Same myself for doing. But
same reason why I read and watched Twilight, and I hate it. I hate it, but now just more scholarly.
I would say it was in its own way fun to watch, because I laughed my way through the movies.
Oh yeah,
really? Yeah, I didn't see them as comedies. I saw them as
they're terrible.
The saddest film I've ever seen.
That is why I was sitting there, like, my friends and I were in the theater laughing so hard, and I felt really bad because there were these girls behind us, and they kicked my buddy's chair. It's like, have some respect, and I'm like, you're right. We're so sorry. We'll stop. Like, but it's hard.
I watched.
No,
I watched one of them.
They paid money. Like, I couldn't. Like, none of us could help ourselves. It's not like we're being jerks. It was so bad.
I know we're off the rails here, but I went and saw one of the Twilight movies in theaters, and this scene comes up where, all the wolf pack finds out that Bella knows they're werewolves, and one of them walks up and goes, "I guess the wolf's out of the bag, isn't it?" And I couldn't help myself. I was sitting in the audience, and I just went, and it caused the biggest laugh in the entire theater, and I was both ashamed and proud of myself for that.
Some of the line deliveries in that series is like, I was watching going, how did the director say we got it cut, we got it print?
And the big three in those movies, they can act.
Every one of them can act.
Kristen Stewart, Robert Pattinson,
Robert
Taylor
Pattinson.
Lautner, they can act.
Kristen can act once in a blue moon, or
She was
a new
good in
moon.
Adventureland.
Yes, that's because she's playing herself.
Oh, that's true. I'm giving her some credit. I think she's better than Twilight. And Robert Pattinson
She is definitely better than Twilight, but my problem with her acting is that it isn't acting.
Nah, it's projection of herself.
Which is fine,
Yeah.
I guess. That's what you're looking for. Fine.
Well, our viewership
That
just went down by 1. You just made Kristen mad because she watches this show. How dare
Mate,
you?
she doesn't have
No,
a...
I'm sorry. And I'm sorry. How dare you? How dare you say that about me?
Yeah. But there you go. But anyway, we're not doing the Twilight show, guys. Let's move on
We
from
should,
that
though. We should do
horrible
a Twilight.
series.
We should do
just
Gen
in
X
case you
versus
actually
Twilight.
watch this, I have no disrespect for her. I just think that
sounded like a lot of
if
disrespect
you need
to me.
her, if you need that human being to be in your film, just book her because that's what you get.
Yeah. Meanwhile, 3 days later, Michael's going to get a call from his agent going, look, we got this Kristen Stewart movie coming up, and they think you'd be perfect for the part.
I will be in it. I will totally take the role because B, I know exactly what I'm going to be acting opposite.
Hey, you know
And,
what?
and C, we'll get a contact from him going, remove that video now.
Oh, come on. You know he'd walk up to Kristen Stewart and be like, I'm sorry about the thing I said on that podcast. She's like, who are you?
And what's a podcast?
What podcast?
No. Just
He-Man.
remember, I walk up to her with my glasses on. I have to take them
that's
off.
right,
Then
yes.
she'll be like, "Oh, it's you."
Michael, yeah. All right, let's move into the second episode, which I found far more interesting, I think, from a doesn't make sense point. But let's get into it. Episode 2, Snake Pit. Episode 2, actually episode 21 of season 1 of He-Man and the Master Universe 2002 series. Get that right, Jason. All of Eternia is put on high alert when Kobra Khan escapes from the Royal Palace prison compound. The Masters journey to the Mystic Mountains where they inform the mysterious Zodak of the situation. This is kind of a Zodak episode.
Yes. Did you notice that Zodak looks like a guy who had way too much facial plastic surgery?
It did. He was a bit tight. But I got to say, straight off the bat, I dug Zodak in this.
Oh, Zodak's cool.
Oh, the
He was way
character's
cooler than he
cool.
was in the original.
Yeah. Well, that's just the, he was part of the original release line.
Well, you know,
Original
though,
6.
that Zodak in this reboot, it's Morpheus.
Yeah, I
It's
get
Morpheus.
Yeah.
I get that.
Somebody was like, oh, I really like that character in this Matrix movie. Let's base a character in He-Man after him.
But it's a good fit.
It is.
It's a good fit, yeah. But you know what I really liked about... There's a lot I did like about this episode. I loved the breakout in the beginning.
Yeah.
I'm going, oh, well, that's interesting. We're going to do a breakout where they're going to... These guys are playing the Eternian version of Guess Who or Chess, whatever they're playing. But I like the fact that he kind of escaped. And I certainly love the fact that he owned those fools as soon as he got out.
Yes, he did.
My
I want to
question is,
know...
how long has he been in there, though?
I don't know, but he's definitely been doing push-ups and sit-ups in there.
I have a question about the entire breakout. The little fluffy guy. What
What's
the
his
heck
deal?
what the heck did Beep the Meep do to get put into this prison?
Has he got a name? Is that his name?
No, it's a Doctor Who character, Beep the Meep, because that's who I looked at. I was like, is that Beep the Meep in He-Man? But yeah, it just I wanted to know more about this little fluffy guy because he looks so
He got a
cute.
line.
They had a camera focus on him too, multiple times.
I
He
just
got his
wanted
own
to know.
close-up.
Yeah, I wanted like Tila to walk in and, you guys will never catch him. What do you know about him? And Man at Arms goes, don't talk to him, Tila. Do you know who that is? That's Beep the Meep. Oh my God, you let me in the same room with him. I just wanted to see something mysterious
It's
like
not
the
a bad
cat
jail
from Rick and
design,
Morty.
though. Yeah. It's not a bad jail
Oh,
design,
great.
though. I like the circular look, and I like the light in the middle works as an alarm.
Yes.
I thought that was very
I
cool.
don't get how, dude, he can take out that many people. A, after being in prison for a long time, but B, so all the guards suck.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just really sad to me.
Yeah, the Royal Guard is the Wish version of any other guards.
Yeah.
Right? They're not the greatest. You know, and the fact they're just trying to copy Man-at-Arms now, but they all dressing like him.
Man-at-Arms said, I'm good at this job. He put me down here and said, push button if Snake Man get out.
The guards are the pack-leds. The guards are the pack-leds of this show.
I'm fairly certain they're cosplayers, guys. They're just they were impressive with their Men-at-Arms accurate costumes and actually convinced them that they were actual soldiers.
Yeah. They were originally on their way to a con, and then they kind of got roped into being guards.
Yeah, it's Eternia Con.
Eternia Con. There's probably such a thing. Hey, Jason, before you go to sleep there.
Sorry. You guys were talking about something that didn't involve me, so I was getting bored.
Do they have big He-Man conventions in America?
That is a great question that deserves a highly nuanced answer that should be delivered by somebody else, because I have no idea.
There you go.
You would think that there would be, though.
Yeah, you'd absolutely think there would be.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on with the episode. Merman and Too Bad face Kobra Khan pretty quickly.
I love Too Bad's redesign.
I love Merman's redesign.
Yeah, most of the redesigns work out really well, but I don't know, something about Too Bad, he just looks really sinister now.
He does, doesn't he?
They both look amazing in this.
Yes. Yeah. Merman was my least favorite in the Filmation shoes. I never liked the figure. Merman. Yeah, but this Merman, I'm like, he's tight. He works out well. Yeah. But let's talk about his plan now, because there's a different plan with Kobra Khan. He seems to be a plan-focused individual, always got something going on. What do we think about his plan this time? I think it's a solid idea.
Basically, join Skeletor's forces, open a door. That's what it is.
How did he have the medallion to begin with? And like, if King Hiss and all of his people were away for that long, where did he get it? How? That's again. Then how could he beat so many people if the guy's like 1,000,000 years old?
These are logic questions.
And jumping ahead, when the Snake Man were released, what were they eating all those years, and how on earth were they able to fight?
Look at him! Look how jacked that one on the left is compared to Kobra Khan. Like it's crazy.
I also have to compliment the redesign for Kobra Khan as well, because it looks really good. It takes those suspenders and like turns it into these bony protrusions, and now he's not wearing underwear. I don't really think he's wearing anything now, is he? He's just kind of like, he's got like body parts.
I think he's a nudie Rudy. I do think he's
there are some Snake Men in this episode who are quite obviously naked, and
he's just wearing a belt. Oh, he's got his suspenders still.
What? Yeah,
but they're really just holding up the belt.
Why does he have a belt if he doesn't have pants?
Isn't that where he hit the
Donald Duck wear a shirt and not pants?
Yeah. We're getting into Winnie the Pooh territory then.
We're getting the cartoon territory of
big time. But yeah, he was
an aesthetic choice, but come on.
He was threatening in this one though.
He was.
Yeah, that was one thing. No sense.
Yeah, that was one thing I really that was one thing I really liked about this episode, is that through all the plot holes and everything, this episode was there to make the Snake Men and King Hiss tangible threats. And I think it succeeded brilliantly. I came out of this episode thinking, those guys ever get out of there, they're screwed.
Yeah, because they made Kobra Khan look like the runt of the litter.
Yes.
Whenever
Ratlor came out, it was just like, oh, all bets are off.
And did you notice that Kobra Khan kind of regressed into that mascot feel of like,
yes,
he ended up just rather than be the leader, he subverted back to the point when they're leaving, he's going, King Hiss will rule forever. Like he's turned into being this threatening presence to being a cheerleader. He knows his place.
He does. And that silhouette of King Hiss down in the void.
Oh, that's pretty badass.
That was BA. I liked that.
Yeah.
Now, I think it's kind of sad because I know what the Snake Men story kind of turned into on the show.
Oh, no.
Just a really, really bad second season. But it's kind of like Picard. It started out really strong and they just kind of went
Yeah. But we got New Picard now, so we don't talk about that.
Yes, New Picard
So
is starting out good. And yeah, I have high hopes.
Do you think Orko is so advanced in his intelligence that he's actually here role-playing the whole episode out with those sock puppets?
I think Orko is far beyond all of our understandings, and we only think he's an idiot because we are idiots ourselves.
We're big Orko fans here, Michael. We love ourselves some Orko.
I think he's like Jar Jar. You know, he seems dumb, but
much maligned.
But he's a secret Sith Lord, yes.
Yep.
Sith Lord.
Yep.
Jar Jar's
What about
a Sith Lord.
Zodak? We talked about Zodak. I didn't know. Is this new? I don't know if you guys can tell me about the mystic spirits that he's got hanging out with.
I think it's new because in the original series, Zodak was the space cop, and he was kind of like the Watcher. He was neutral. He didn't take sides. He was there to keep balance in the universe, and basically was the most useless person in the world. But everybody, whenever I was a kid, wanted that figure, and I don't know why.
Because he looks so good, dude.
He does. And then this one comes along, and now he's, like I said, he's Morpheus, and he's firmly on the side of good. He doesn't want evil to come through. He works out much better in the reboot than he does in the original.
Yeah. I love his eyes being white.
Look at that. He looks like Christopher Judge from Stargate, except with way too much plastic surgery.
Yeah, he's got a bit much lip filler going on there.
And those cheekbones are just crazy.
Cheekbones are... Yeah.
To die for. What are you talking about?
It looks like if he sneezes, his face would explode.
I loved his flying chair.
Yes.
Zoop up and it goes.
Totally not like Jack Kirby's New Gods. Not at all. That is not Metron at all. This is something completely original we've never seen before. Morpheus on Metron's chair.
My problem with him, though, as cool as he was in this series, is his power levels, like in wrestling, pro wrestling, keeps going up and down. And it went up and down a lot in this episode.
Yeah.
I'm going to beat up Skeletor and all of his men. I'm going to beat up the Snake Man. Oh, no, I've been spit on.
Oh, yeah. But okay, so here's the thing. Yes, the spit thing. So in the original, Kobra Khan spreads this thing, and then there's gas coming out of, like, the sleep gas, right?
Yeah, he farts out of his gills, yes.
Yeah.
Right, but here, he opens it, but then spits acid.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is unnecessary, and also gives away that he's about to spit. Now, it
looks so cool.
Oh, I like the look, but he should have come out of here, not as. Anyways, if Zodak could see people's weaknesses and is as powerful and amazing as he is, when these came out, he should have expected something, and then he just gets spat in the face.
That is a very good point, because yes, like that's a fairly indicator that shit's about to go down with that thing coming out. You think he could have done a tumble roll, but there goes his helmet. They just wanted to be able to get rid of his helmet so we could get more Morpheus.
No one expects the Snake Man venomation.
Hang on a minute. But is that venom? Hang on a minute. Didn't he spit that venom and close off the cave as well?
Yes,
he didn't melt the cave entrance. It sealed it, didn't it?
It did. That was after Adam ran away.
Because if the power sword and Zodak's thing, it took their combined power to deal with it.
Yeah,
so that spit is insane.
Yeah. Nah, when they got it all together, and I do love that. Actually, to be honest with you, as I was going through finding images and going, I love that photo so much. I would have that as my wallpaper.
It's beautiful,
and that's the moment when Zodak and He-Man are combined efforts. So
if anything,
I did like the part where He-Man gets thrown down the pit, though. I like that. I like the fact that He-Man in this was not as strong as I've seen him. Yeah, not that great. He was more He-Man. Not He-Man, He-Man. But yeah. I like also, I'm going to come back, I like the idea, I like the background to it, how Zodok and those mystic spirits sealed them in that pit. I was into that. And I found the scene when they were opening the pit back up. I thought that was done very well, with all the snakes jumping out and having some drawn in the foreground, but in the background we're seeing the shadow-like figures. I thought it was quite cool.
I liked that Skeletor fought against the Snake Men, and there was no big speech about I will be on your team this time, He-Man. There was none of that. It was all unspoken. They all understood that if they didn't contain the Snake Men, it was bad for everybody. And there was just this mutual, we're going to take care of this. We don't need any big speeches. This is just common sense.
Yeah. I did like how he pinned them all up.
Yes.
Pinned them all up. But I also, to back up from that, I love how Skeletor, who should be, because he's the big bad guy, was able to kind of break himself free from it. It just kind of reminded us that Skeletor, he's the big bad guy. There's not much, not even Zodak could contain him. I love that.
This is one of those rare instances where I do think that the 2002 episode was better than the Filmation.
Oh, yeah, I got to say, out of the two, if I had to watch another one again, it'd be this one.
Yeah, it doesn't happen often, but I do think that the 2002 reboot has got it this time.
Mind you, if I was given a choice, I wouldn't watch either of these again. I'd go back and watch She-Ra again.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Oh, I like the original more.
Oh,
did you really? Why? Why did you like it?
Because I found too many story issues of the 2002 one for me to actually enjoy it fully. I get the aesthetic. I get the threat of the Snake Man. I appreciate the history of Snake Mountain.
History.
History. But there was just too much pro wrestling in there for me. Yeah. It's just too much up and down, up and down, up and down. Nothing made sense for me in those fights. Like, even like Teela can like hold her own when nobody else. Like 1 second, like everyone's getting their butts whooped, and then next thing you know, Teela's like doing flips and whatever. I just like, guys. Just,
what you're raising there is
he is great. But I'm just saying, you got to have your power levels sorted out and stick to it.
This is a common problem throughout this entire series, Jason, isn't it? Is the fighting in this and the power level thing you're talking about is constantly throughout.
It's
like it always bugged me from the beginning when He-Man and Skeletor now are doing these massive anime flips, and they seem to be so capable 1 second and so incapable the next. It is. Yeah, that's where they overdid it big time in this series.
It's like I said, it's plot dependent. It's what does the plot require at this time, and it's kind of always been that way, even with the new series.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I could say that about She-Ra and the Princess of Power, because that's very specifically written in a way that I don't see that myself from the first time.
I think that they're guilty of it every now and again.
Don't break my spirit.
I'm just saying, everybody's guilty of it. It's fine.
Not She-Ra, all right? Not She-Ra.
Oh my god! Between the two Kobra Khan episodes, I felt the original was more consistent. I don't mind how stupid he looks because I think it's great, and I like the Reptons. I like it. I just found the whole thing fine.
If
I would go and hang out at Repton.
I'll make you king because I am king of the candy.
They actually seem quite nice, don't they?
I found myself laughing and smiling, and then with the 2002, sure, I'm definitely like again, I love the aesthetic, and there were great moments throughout, but there's too many questions that I was left with for me to fully enjoy it as much as I think you guys did, because I'm just sitting here going, no, that doesn't make sense. No, why this? Why like it's just too much. And so my brain can't stop and enjoy it.
We can't hear you.
Yeah, we can't hear you. Your mic just...
Oh, thank goodness. Okay. I thought...
Oh, finally, the Australian shut up.
You're just sitting there like... I was like, why is he mouthing during... What are you doing? Are you making fun of him?
I thought you're like yelling at me. You're like swearing and everything, but you turn your mic off so no one can hear.
I was self-censoring there.
Nice,
I don't even know what I was saying now, but I will say one thing. I do want to go to that Reptar. What's the name? Reptor? What's the name of the land?
I don't even know.
Did they even
home of the Reptons?
The home of the Reptons, yes.
Home of the Reptons. I'd definitely like to hang out there. I'd be a bit concerned about going around for dinner because I have a feeling it'd be just giant mice on a plate.
Or the people that they invent. That they invite. I mean, invent. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired.
This is a man who's currently under medication because he went to the dentist.
Well, the king probably invents a lot of people in his head.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Will you please get out of the way and let the clown with the big red nose come by? Oh, hello. Would you like to be king?
Yeah.
Who's he talking to? Don't worry about it.
Mate, if you got dexterity like that, you can be as senile as you want. He is probably very popular with the ladies. All right. Well, I don't have anything more to add to that 2002 episode. It was an interesting choice, Jace, to go with Kobra Khan. I was quite shocked. Out of all the characters you chose, we went with Kobra Khan.
Every now and again, I got to throw a curveball. And here
you got to throw a curveball.
In case you were wondering, it is called PowerCon. It is October 11th through the 13th in Columbus, Ohio.
All right. Is that far away from you?
That is quite a ways away, yes.
I found the same thing too.
How interesting.
Because earlier I pulled out my phone and started looking. So yeah.
Yeah. PowerCon.
Yeah,
and the scale of it, I imagine it's pretty large then.
Oh, I'm sure. I don't see any guests that have been advertised yet, but so I kind of want to go.
Yeah. Dolph's like, I'm out. I'm not going. Can't have before Frank Langella. Courtney Cox is probably busy with Scream. Who else?
Robert Duncan McNeil could go.
Yeah, but Robert Duncan McNeil is probably on the Star Trek circuit one, so he's busy.
Billy Barty's busy being dead. You know.
Oh no! Oh, don't talk about
which
Billy
I think was a terrible career move personally, but you know, he couldn't be
dying?
talked out of it. Yeah, he couldn't be talked out of it. He was adamant. He wanted to die, and despite everybody saying you shouldn't have done that, he just insists on staying dead, which I think is very, very selfish of him.
Yeah, very selfish, absolutely. Well, we're going to end it now, Jason. We got to, unfortunately, me and Michael, we have to say goodbye to you for now because we're just about to bring in Skeletor again for our next segment. So we'll bring you back after Jason when we finish Skeletor because we know you two have issues.
Yeah,
so
I can't be in the same room with him.
We can't muck around with that.
Sorry
no.
But I'm going to miss you.
Yeah. But he'll be back. He'll be back for sure.
Maybe.
All right. Okay, well, that's it, guys. That's what we thought of this episode. But now let's move into our next segment, Dear Skeletor. And I need a theme song. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. We need a theme song. Skeletor, how are you, sir? Well, sorry, not Skeletor, at Evil Papa.
Evil Papa, do not forget my handle.
No, I will not forget.
I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan.
Who are you?
This is Michael Chan. He's on Star Trek. Have you not seen him before?
Mm-hmm.
Star what?
Star Trek, Skeletor. You must have heard it. You know, they're explorers and they travel the galaxy.
Family Guy?
No, it's not the Orville. No, we're talking about Star Trek.
I really like that one.
Well, you know, you should like Star Trek because it's all about exploring the universe.
And conquering it?
Not necessarily, maybe. Yeah.
But I guess now that you're saying you don't know what it is, I have a bone to pick with you, Skeletor.
Was that a joke?
Well, you're riling him up now, Michael.
You would not make fun of someone with a handicap, would you? Do you think I look like this on purpose?
This happens every week. He can't help himself.
I am highly offended.
You're always offended.
You and your Star Trek show.
Have you ever watched it, though?
You mean Kneecap?
You ever watched it?
What?
Well, I did send you a couple of episodes of Michael so you could get to know our guest before the show. And clearly you didn't
honestly think that we have Blu-ray or DVD on Snake Mountain? It's the 1980s here all the time.
Ah, so it's Betamax.
Either a Betamax or a Laserdisc.
Disc.
It does. But you know Skeletor, he's too lazy to go halfway through and then flip over the disc. He's not doing that.
That's what Beastman is for.
Yeah, but he breaks it every time. You've told me that before. But anyway.
Well, it's usually because we get Twilight movies. And I order him to.
Yeah, I know you're a big fan of the Twilight movies, aren't you? You especially
It is
love.
true. I do like the Twilight movies.
Kristen Stewart, I believe, Kristen Stewart is one of your favourite actors. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Her ability to drain the life from any production is quite entertaining.
Yes. She's very talented. Now, we bring you here, Skeletor. It's called Dear Skeletor because you give life advice for people that need it. And he's got a massive fan base out there, Michael. People love asking Skeletor for advice. And I've got one here I'm ready to read out to you. Okay, this comes from Simon. He's 8 years old. He's from Seattle. Dear Skeletor.
That's me.
Would you ever think about becoming a dad? I would love to be your son. I'm happy to leave my dumb parents and become your BFF son forever.
Oh, that's sweet.
It is
I
sweet.
love the way
Lovely.
that he disrespects his parents. That's just so deliciously evil.
What I meant. Yes,
But as for being your father, no. I'm afraid that I am quite ill-equipped to
Oh, you had the
father.
do you have
No, it's well, it's my handicap. You see this it's just bones. That's all there is. Just bones. Just bones.
Is that why Evelyn's so angry all the time? Could be.
But wouldn't that mean you're
But I am called Daddy
all the
quite a
time?
bit on Snake Mountain, if you know what I mean.
I think we do.
It's
Sorry,
Beast
Michael.
Man. He won't stop. He thinks I'm his daddy.
Yeah.
I gave him a half-eaten chicken bone one time, and now he imprinted on me. It's quite ridiculous.
Ooh. That's gross. That's so gross.
I agree.
All right, well, let's get back to Simon. What are we going to do about Simon? And
Who?
would you adopt? I mean, this guy, Simon's happy to leave the planet, come over to Eternia and be your BFF son.
Well, the first thing I need to ask is, how will this benefit me? Does Simon have any, let's call them special abilities or powers? Does he know dark magic, or does he shoot laser beams out of some part of his body?
No, but he's a big fan of Star Trek Discovery.
Of what?
Never mind, move on. So, either way.
I would assume that he is of a smaller size, so he can help you get into places where and free prisoners that you wouldn't otherwise be able to
shrinks.
Free. Yes. Also, being a young boy, flatulence is a big thing for them.
We already have Stinkor for that. I don't know if you've been watching.
Oh, well, he can outstink Stinkor.
No one can outstink Stinkor. Have you ever been around the guy? It's like a sumo took a dump on a burning tire. It's horrible.
Hey, if he's 8, right, does that mean, because no one can really hurt Orko at the moment, because who's going to beat up poor little Orko? But you could send that 8-year-old to go toe-to-toe, and everyone's going to
I don't think Orko has toes.
No,
he's just some kind of torso just floating. I've tried to look up that skirt a couple of times. You know what I saw? A timeless void.
The fact that you looked up a small being skirt indicates that you need to be on a watch list, Skeleton.
I am evil, and I was curious, okay? Besides, Evelyn and I had a bet. She thought that they would be legs. I said, no, he's got some sort of tail, like a flying Quixotocall, or whatever you call it, a flying winged serpent. I think Orko's a demon, personally. But no, there's nothing there.
There's an argument to be made for that. No.
There's nothing there. It's just a timeless abyss. I looked into it, and I couldn't stop screaming for a week.
Yeah. It's that voice, though. Do you really want to live with Orko with that voice? That would be... The first thing I'd be saying to Orko is, shut up. Thank you very much. I think that's the only problem with Orko is his high pitch would be like fingernails down a blackboard.
There's nothing worse than a high-pitched voice.
No, there's not.
I personally can't stand it.
I know.
It can annoy all of your opponents and distract them for you.
Yes, one of these days I will get that little imp on my side, and then we will unlock his true magical potential. Wait, are we talking about Orko or Simon?
I don't know, but
with consent.
Okay, Simon's just sent me a message going, I'm moving on to Thundercats. All right.
Well, good luck. You want to talk about lists? You want to know how many lists Mumra is on? So many. Do not read his criminal record. You will not sleep for a week.
Well,
it's like looking at Orko's skirt.
I think we're going to leave it at that, Skeletor. Thank you. Thank you for making time for this show every couple of weeks. We really appreciate it. Looking at the contract, we've got you for a few more episodes, and we'll catch you next week. I
thought that I was selling my soul for ultimate power when I signed that.
Yeah, well, you also signed an NDA, so you can't talk about it.
Aren't NDAs the worst, Michael Chan of Star Trek Discovery?
He can't talk about it. The NDA says he can't even comment.
Yes, I know. I'm working on many projects that I can't comment right now. One of which might or might not be the second season of the Orville, which I'm very excited about, or not excited about. I can't really say.
That's it. We're out of here. We're out of here. That is the end of Dear Skeletor.
You will all be destroyed.
All right, Skeletor, get out of here. Jason, thank God you're back.
Yes. Oh my God.
If you had just seen the ridiculousness we had to deal with, you wouldn't be coming back. He's a train wreck, and I blame you for going, I think we can get Skeletor on the show. It's your fault, Jason.
In my defense, I thought I was signing something for Ultimate Power.
I've heard that before. Anyway, all right. Well, that's it, guys. We're finished now with our Power of J Skull Kobra Khan edition, when we got to talk about a couple of episodes of Kobra Khan. And if you liked those episodes, if you're into Kobra Khan, go back and check them all out. I'm sure you will feel mildly satisfied at the end of it. But either way, guys, if you could like, subscribe, comment, do all the things that keep us in business. Takes you 2 seconds, but means a lot for us. Means we can keep this thing still going. And I want to thank Michael Chan, the incredible, talented, amazing Michael Chan, for making time out of his busy schedule to come and talk some He-Man. And we hope to have you back again. Next time, Michael, I'd love you to come back and talk about your favourite character. And you can give us a breakdown of what your favourite He-Man character is.
But if it's Cal, forget it.
Yeah, if it's Cal, forget it. You know, that
it totally is, so there you go.
Oh my God. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of it. We will see you next time on, what's the show called, Jason?
The Power of J Skull.
See ya, guys.